Cyclone Freddy making landfall in Madagascar. The long trek continues and the storm is now ploughing into the eastern coast of Madagascar as a Category 3 with winds of around 115 miles per hour and a central pressure of 958 millibars. It's at 20.9 degrees south, 49.1 degrees east, and is still a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, moving west-southwest at 18 miles per hour. The storm is literally about to make landfall just as this video goes out, and will make its landfall very close to the town of Mananjary, which is a significant area there along the eastern coast of Madagascar. Its current position displayed on the map here, and you can see just where exactly it is there. This is as of 6 PM Eastern African time this February 21st. And the storm will move into land very shortly and cut across Madagascar, moving generally westwards. It is 69 kilometers from Ambahi, 89 from Mananjary, 180 from Manakara, 244 from Antsirabe inland, and 508 from Morondava on the west coast, which is near where it will emerge, a little bit south of there, when it eventually re-enters open water over the Mozambique Channel. The storm is expected to weaken a lot after it moves inland and may drop down to tropical depression status by the time it gets to the western side, but as of now, damaging winds is the primary hazard for the coast near Mananjary, with wind speeds sustained of 115 miles per hour and higher gusts. Destructive winds from this storm will be felt in that area for the next few hours as it makes landfall and eventually moves inland. Hopefully it will start to weaken fairly quickly since the structure of the storm has been quite compromised. It is struggling with its structure. Here it is with its wind field and the forecast projection over the next few days. It drops down and then it re-intensifies over the Mozambique Channel. There's a landfall in southern Mozambique, south of Beira, and then towards the weekend it dies off as it heads almost towards South Africa, actually, in the most southern part there of Mozambique, where it will eventually dissipate, but the rainfall spread from that will be quite extensive. Maximum sustained winds are 115 miles per hour. Some satellite projections suggest that it might be a little bit lower now and is about to drop down to Category 2. You can see the JTWC cone on the left hand side there, pretty much in line with what our forecast just said a moment ago, and the remnants of the storm could enter the northernmost part of South Africa towards the end of the forecast period. That's around day 4 and 5. And this is the Meteo France view of Freddy and that other system that they're expecting to become a tropical cyclone in a couple of days, but it will avoid the Mascarene Islands. But you can see there they're expecting the storm to re-intensify quite a lot before making its final landfall, we hope, in southern Mozambique there. And this is the GFS model projection, and you can see what it expects for the storm in the next 7 days. And its quick regeneration on the other side of Madagascar. It doesn't have very much time to intensify, but it does really try to ramp back up as it makes its landfall in Mozambique. There it is again, its original landfall in Madagascar. There it is on the other side, sweeping across to the west, actually taking it a little bit further north than what our forecasts are right now, a little bit closer to Beira. Certainly watch out in that whole area, extending southwards towards Maputo and inland into Zimbabwe and northern South Africa. Here is a look at what the reflectivity might look like as the storm continues through, and you can still see its tight core almost as it makes that final landfall, and then most of its energy gets swept southwards there. Look at all those colours over that southern area of Mozambique. Lots of rainfall in that area. Watch again as it moves through Madagascar, loses a lot of its energy, and then it really tries to consolidate one last time before it makes that final landfall on this epic trek that this storm has embarked on over the last 14 days now that it's been active, 15 days even, and it has trekked through the whole of the Indian Ocean, pretty much unheard of. Expected rainfall accumulations then, this is the storm as it winds its way through Madagascar and then onto the African continent, and you can see those colours really start to bloom, especially later on in its remnant low phase over the southern part of Mozambique. I'm looking at very high rainfall amounts there, but first of all in Madagascar we could be looking at maybe 7 inches there. That's getting close to 200 millimeters. And through the rest of Madagascar they're generally up to 5 inches. Now looking towards the southern part of Africa, look at that, 14 inches in some areas there towards the northern part of South Africa, towards Maputo, eSwatini and Zimbabwe, potentially high amounts of 14 inches there, that's 350 millimeters. Sea surface temperatures very warm, and you can see that baked in look on the eastern coast of Africa there. Certainly hot conditions there on land right now ahead of this storm. And sea surface temperatures very warm around there as well in the Mozambique Channel towards Beira, 29 degrees Celsius, certainly good enough to possibly see rapid intensification if the conditions are right in that short time it has before it makes that final landfall. Think worst case scenario Leon Eileen in 2000, which ramped up really quickly before it made that final landfall. Hopefully that won't happen. And taking a look at the satellite imagery, this is how the storm has progressed throughout the day, and as you can see the eye has been getting less clear in those later frames. It's really been struggling with that structure. It tried a little bit earlier on, but it looks like it has fallen apart again. Certainly microwave imagery indicates that the structure has fallen apart, particularly on the southern side, and the eye is getting swept away there, it would seem, and it will lose that very shortly. Moving into Madagascar, the eye will probably completely disappear very quickly, and that will herald rapid weakening. But for the time being, in the next 3 to 4 hours, maybe more than that, we could be seeing very destructive category 3 winds before the storm starts to weaken and then moves on towards the western coast. If it does move more quickly than expected through Madagascar, it might still retain a little bit more intensity, so let's watch out for that one as well as this storm continues to push westwards.